it's really common in these particular red pill settings that like...
Is this a red pill setting?
Look, Brian, okay, this is a red pill setting. It's really common in the red pill setting. I literally have to do everything in this like weird Californian voice because I'm like one of the Kardashian descendants. And that's why I'm here and you guys like don't understand. I'm gonna call Kris Kardashian shortly after this and have you canceled. I'm being as kind as I possibly can and I'm also not gonna be canceled, okay? And how dare you disrespect me? Hello, America, FBI and CIA agents, and fellow cult members. Welcome to Culture Club USA. I'm DiBrava. Today's riddle is, as the minds of modern women become increasingly impenetrable, one can't easily discern logic from the thoughts of a subliminal. As misdirection is a weapon of the tongue of the deceiver, the paths of fools follow the currents into the pool of the believer. Okay, on today's episode of OnlyFans on Trial, we have a silly and sour ex-Army lieutenant who does her best to block the women around her from any future of normalcy and happiness. This is a fun one. Shall we dive in? Let's get into it.
All right, your reaction to the Tobey Maguire thing?
I think most women in their early 20s have no idea left, right, up, down, and Tobey Maguire being 49 is being completely inappropriate dating a 20-year-old, 21-year-old.
Okay, so just to bring you all into what's happening here, obviously we are on the Whatever podcast, and guess what, guys? Your favorites on here. Andrew Wilson, The Crucible, and of course, Brian. And the question is, Tobey Maguire, should he be dating a 20-year-old at his late date of 49? You can see where this is going, right? I digress.
All right, your reaction to the Tobey Maguire thing?
I think most women in their early 20s have no idea left, right, up, down, and Tobey Maguire being 49 is being completely inappropriate dating a 20-year-old, 21-year-old.
Why?
Because he's mature. He's been around the planet. He's, understands relationship dynamics,
Okay, what is going on? The people on this podcast just crack me up. I don't know where Brian finds these characters, but this is a very interesting one here, getting up to probably use the bathroom or do God knows what. All right, and by the way, guys, before she gets into this, what is wrong with Tobey Maguire, who's 49, dating a 20-year-old? She's legal, right? She's of legal adult age. I mean, it seems like maybe Amy's a little bitter here. That's Lieutenant Amy, by the way, speaking.
I think that women that young should be dating much closer to their own age. And to your point about resources and things like that, the thing she's probably looking at is status. She's looking at a high status man with money, with fame, things like that. So those are the things she's attaching herself to. But in terms of, being a woman of high value, going after those things alone is low value behavior.
She's 20 years old. She's practically a kid. You're supposed to be dating someone older.
And it's his responsibility, being the older, more mature person, to date within the maturity level that he's at, not a very vulnerable young woman who is definitely going to be taken advantage of in other ways in terms of her body and her time and her energy, and she's going to be falling in love with this guy when the chances of them actually working out are going to be pretty slim to none.
Erroneous!
I just am saying that based on traditional, not traditional, but the majority of relationships out there that are like that, the young girls are going after money, fame, status, etc. That's taking advantage of him, right?
Okay.
Yep. And then likewise, he's going for the really young, vulnerable, easy, docile personality with a lot of life to go still.
Sounds like a perfect match to me. I mean, hello, he's getting something, she's getting something. I mean, what is she talking about? These women become I don't know how old she is, 35, whatever. They get so bitter. It's like bitter Nelly. It's like if she was 20, she wouldn't be dating Tobey Maguire if she had the chance. I mean, give me a break, Lieutenant. I'm going to go with, yeah, you would.
That's equal. Yeah.
What do you mean by vulnerable?
when you're young, when you're a teenager, when you're in your early 20s. This is both for men and women.
First of all, early 20s is not a teenager. Let me just state that. That's not a teenager.
And women, you're a sponge. And that's a vulnerable place to be, where you're not operating from an educated, experienced position. They're vulnerable in terms of they're easily swayed. They're easily suggestible. So that's what I mean by vulnerable.
Hold on. Experienced. What does she mean? Be a slut? So go sow your wild oats and sleep with 10, 20, 30, 40 men, get your body count up like she probably did, and then you're experienced enough to date an older man? Do you realize that what she's saying makes absolutely no sense? Absolutely no sense.
Like they're a sponge.
So do you think
I mean, they definitely shouldn't be joining the military at that age.
Oh, oh, see I miss my crucible. Now, there's a little history here, people. Go back and search one of my older videos. He's already annihilated her once. Okay? Now, she's sitting here with Andrew, and he's going to annihilate her again. He's already starting. Okay. If you're a sponge, you shouldn't be joining the military at 20 either. Good one, Andrew. Good one.
I mean, they definitely shouldn't be joining the military at that age.
I mean, I joined at 17, but that's
Yeah, I know,
wait,
but
hold
you
on.
definitely shouldn't have, because you're a sponge and you're easily suggestible,
Andrew,
and you
that's
don't have any autonomy. And
completely
you're just kind of a fool, right?
No, that's
You must
completely
be.
different.
How is that completely different? Guys, ladies, all my feminists out there that are watching this to hate me, whatever you do, take my advice. Don't try and go up against Andrew Wilson. You're never going to win.
Completely different. You're someone going in the
That's
military.
Why is it completely different?
Oh, well, I'll tell you. So
Okay.
when you go into the military, like I did at 17, you're going into a safe. When I mean safe, I mean it's structured. There's laws.
He's like, give me another cigarette. He's trying to quit, and he's like, just give me more, give me more. She's talking about going into a safe what? The military is a safe space? Now the military is a safe space. Okay. Let's go into a war zone. Let's go to war. Let's go to Afghanistan. Let's go over to the Ukraine. Let's go to take a visit and visit Putin and get shot up and missing legs. That's a safe space. I don't care what you're doing in the military. Male, female, alien, Joe Biden, it doesn't matter. Military is not a safe space. Period. Military is unsafe. That's why you have to sign a bunch of paperwork, basically giving up your rights when you go in the military, right? So that when you come back home and you're blown up into pieces, they're not responsible, okay? You did it at your own risk.
It's structured. There's laws and rules and regulations in place. Because
there's not laws and rules and regulations in place for, relationships and for marriage, even though there is, right? Like, you can't just randomly essay women, right? Even if you're in a relationship, there's still laws in place, even if you're not in the military, right?
See, that's what I mean. You're just not going to win. He takes it to places that no one else dares to go. Tread lightly, my friend. Tread lightly. I'm talking to Amy.
The military, right?
I don't know why you're getting so heated, Anne.
See, she can't ever answer the question. She can't ever answer the question. Now, this girl has a podcast, okay? This is every indication why you should never watch it. Okay, it's called Amy is Okay. Well, no, you're not okay. You need a psychiatrist, okay? That's a basic statement. If you can't find logic in what Andrew Wilson just said, honey, you need to sit down and go reevaluate yourself, among other things.
I don't know why you're getting so heated, Andrew.
Well, I want an answer to the question.
There's the tone policing already.
I want
Just
to know why
engage.
I want to know why you think it's okay to be, when you say sponge, right? Oh, they're just a sponge. They have so much life left to live, girl.
I guess I'm just like, what is your point?
Hang on, let me finish, and then I'll
what's your
turn it over
point?
to you. Okay, hang on, let me finish. You say, they're a sponge. They're just absorbed. They're easily influenced, right? And totally suggestible. These are your words.
Correct.
But of course, they should be joining the military because they're easily suggestible. They're like sponges. They could be easily influenced in doing things they ordinarily wouldn't do. The SA rate for women in the military is sky high. Seems like, it's a little bit of a contradiction there, right?
No, I disagree because they're two completely separate topics. Completely separate topics. The question was, do I think that they're that massive of
How are they two completely separate topics? How does somebody like her have a podcast? How? Well, this is why it has no views. Nobody goes to it. I mean, this is logic, okay? I don't think that she was prepared for this, okay? You should have went back and looked at the footage of you, Amy, on Access Vegas, where Andrew Wilson already annihilated you once. Okay, you're not being very military tactical or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You better go back to your tactics and military. Okay, because you're dead. You're dead on arrival.
Massive of an age gap is an issue. And my answer, in my opinion, is yes, I think it's an issue. I think like 10 years is appropriate as a max. But like once you start getting into like the 20s, et cetera, I think it's completely disproportionate. There are different areas of their lives, and that's my opinion.
Like well, your commanding officer, for instance, who's probably going to be much older than you are, right?
That's so different, Andrew. Like one is a teacher.
Why is it different? You're suggestible, which means you can't make good decisions because you're a sponge. You're always absorbing the things that are around you. This is your logic, the entailment of your logic.
We can give each other the space to talk, but you cut me off first.
I just let you go.
No, you cut me off first.
Let you go.
You cut me off first.
You were done
I was
talking.
in the middle of giving my answer, and you cut me off first.
Hey, I'm done talking, and now you can't talk.
Andrew, we've done this before together. I will, but once I finish my point.
Stop talking. Let me finish.
Andrew, I'm not going to take that from you or any.
See, you know, these women are just like, she's like, oh no, Andrew, I'm not going to take that from you. I'm not going to take, that's all she can do. Cause she really can't answer the question. She's not capable of actually having a conversation. Okay. Again, she's proving herself. Okay. You're not capable of having a discussion. So what are you doing on the Whatever podcast? Are you there just for the views? So you want the exposure of the Whatever podcast, but you don't want to answer any questions. Andrew, I'm not doing this with you. We've been down here before, Andrew. I mean, it's like, come on. It's called entertainment. Okay. People are here to watch you interact, not to sit here and just defy everything and not answer a question. When it gets hard, you're just, zoning out. Yeah.
From you or anybody.
I'm not going to tell you. I'll get up and leave right now, right this second.
I'm not going to do this with you, Andrew.
Are you going to have a discourse like adults or what? You can't finish talking, and when I start talking,
I just have to come in and pick one of you to finish your
fine.
things. Andrew gets to finish.
That's
Go ahead,
fine.
Andrew.
Okay, so anyway, your line of logic would still apply to other situations. If women are easily suggestible, they're just young sponges, they're just absorbing the things around them, you say these are two different situations, as though I'm talking about them like they're the same situation. The logical entailment, though, would apply in both. That's the point.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I didn't specify women. I said young people, both men and women, when they're in their early 20s, are very suggestible, impressionable. They're sponges. That's what I said. So I wasn't specifically talking about women. We were not talking about the military. And
what does it have to do with you were or weren't talking about the military? We're talking about people and stages of life. Okay. And we're talking about a certain age of person interacting with another certain age of person in a relationship, okay? Whatever kind of relationship, it all basically means the same thing. Whether it's your boss, right? Whether it's your lover, whether it's a parent, it doesn't really matter. If she's saying that you're a sponge at that age and you shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z, she doesn't really ever know how to answer questions. And part of the problem here is that she won't answer the questions because she's in a woke liberal world. Okay? And she's afraid to actually answer the questions. I don't actually believe that she's this stupid. She actually knows that what he's saying is correct, but God forbid she agree with him. She'd be kicked out of her little circles. Get it?
difference that I was trying to articulate was that if there's a 20-year age gap between myself, as an example, and a staff sergeant that's in charge of my platoon, his job is to train me, is to educate me, is to lead me, is to build me into being a soldier. That is not the dynamic of the particular male that we're talking about. Tobey Maguire's job is not to teach a 20-year-old how to be an adult and a woman and to know her rights and to know her boundaries and her limits and what she likes and doesn't like. That's not Toby's job.
That's not a staff sergeant's job either, to teach you how to be a woman.
Oh my God! He goes places you couldn't dream of. I mean, right? Danger zone. The danger zone is here.
Teach you how to be a woman.
They're two completely different topics.
That's your logic. It's your logical application. Staff sergeant's job not to teach you how to be a woman either. Okay, when you're talking about a power imbalance, if you're saying that people are so young and impressionable they can't make the decision of who they date based on an age gap, which is absurd, this logic should still apply to the situations that they can engage in, which is contractual. For instance, signing a 4-year contract for your life, right? That you then hand over to the government. If you're incapable.
Wow, did you hear what he just said? That is such a good point. here we go again. Exactly. Like the paperwork I said. You're signing a contract with the government. You have to sign. You don't just, walk into the military and, they take all the responsibility. You're signing a contract. Now, what he's saying is, well, you're pretty impressionable at 18. You shouldn't really be joining the military either. Now, should you? Let's face it. These are kids in the military fighting for our rights in this country. Isn't that crazy? Is that not crazy? People don't think about that. Okay. They don't show in the commercials for in the army, who's actually over there doing it. You get it?
Capable of determining who you can or can't date? Why in the world would I think that you could determine whether or not you signed your life over to the U.S. government?
So hold on, again, two completely different topics. I did not say a staff sergeant was going to teach me how to be a woman. A staff sergeant would be teaching me how to be a soldier, just to clarify.
That's right.
And in terms of the topic of, them joining the military, et cetera, again, we're not talking about that. We're talking.
He's like, you know what? This is going to be a long ride. Let me just light this baby up again. I need all the smoke I can get because I'm about to smoke her right out the room.
Again, we're not talking about that. We're talking about whether I personally, the question was whether I personally find issue with a 20-year plus age gap. I personally find an issue with it. I don't think it should be illegal. Should the woman be able to decide to do that, or a man could be reversed? Absolutely, it's their choice. It's their business. I'm just saying the question was, do I have an issue with it? And I'm saying I have an issue with it.
So then here's what I'm doing. Right? And I'm going to use my best HR tone. What I'm doing is I'm taking your applied logic that you apply in this situation and also equally applying it to other situations to see if it's consistent. It's called an analogy, right? So in this analogy, if you have a personal problem with age gap relationships based on the fact that there's power dynamics and that the woman can be super suggestible to this 49-year-old who's super powerful and these all-powerful Za, okay, then this would still apply to the fact that if she made other contracts or other, life choices, why is it that she's capable of those? You have no problem, but you have a problem in the instance of her picking her partner.
Ooh, I need to cool myself off right there. Let's see where Lieutenant Amy goes with this.
Again, these are two completely different scenarios with two.
You can keep saying that like we don't know that.
Listen, Andrew,
You know what? She should have wore her military uniform. Come on, Amy. You know what? Maybe the answers would have come through the uniform, attracted an answer that made sense. I mean, I don't know.
We just disagree. So I think we should move on because we definitely disagree on.
Oh, there we go. I think we should move on. She doesn't have the answer. She can't answer because the woke police are watching. So I think we should move on. Okay. Because I don't want to get fired. I have a job. There are people backing my Amy is Okay podcast. Okay. And it's all about women in better places. Women who were essayed, women who were this, women who were that, and women, okay? I don't really want to get kicked off, Andrew, because I'm not going to have a job, okay? So I am going to move on. Let's just move on. Do you ever see a podcast that has a podcaster, okay, on as a guest that just continues to move on from the subject? Is it your podcast? Is it your platform? Or is it Brian's platform? Because last I checked, you weren't a part of the whatever podcast.
That's the argument.
I'm not going to keep arguing with you. I'm not going to. So we disagree. That's my opinion. I don't need you to agree with it. I don't need you to find logic in it. That's just my opinion. So I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, but I'm not really ready to move on. I'd really like you to answer to this because I don't understand the logic.
But you're going to be all by yourself.
Good. Is she nuts? Is she nuts? Wow. Andrew, you're going to be all by yourself. Amy said so, okay? And this is Amy is. And what Amy says is Amy is and Amy goes and that's it. Okay, Andrew? Step in line, Andrew.
Yeah.
Is up the opposite of down?
Oh, here we go. Is up the opposite of down. My favorite one is he says, do you know the difference between is and ought? And they're like this. Oh.
No, just nothing. We're just not going to answer any questions at all. What we'll do is we'll just take positions that never defend them. I'm not going to do that.
I'm not here to debate you, Andrew. We've been through this before.
What are you here to do?
What is she here for then? She's not here to debate him. See, this is a great example of why this podcast takes 12 hours to film. Can you imagine? I mean, first of all, you need me to edit these things up just to give you, a shorter explanation of what actually happened. Because everybody like her that sits on this podcast, there'd be nothing there. 12 hours? Who wants to watch this for 12 hours?
What are you here to do?
I'm here for the dating conversation. I'm not here for you.
This is a conversation
I'm not
about
here for
dating.
you.
We're talking about specifically a person who's dating someone who's far older, and I'm testing the logical consistency of your position.
But I don't need you to decide whether my logic about whether I think a 20-year age gap is appropriate or not. I don't need your approval on that.
I didn't say you needed my approval.
So then
we're having a conversation.
I don't care if you approve or not. It's not a conversation when you're just like going to disrespect. Like I don't need that.
How's that disrespectful?
Andrew, I'm not going to do this with you this time.
Are you going to use the HR thing? Is it the wrong tone? Is it the HR tone? Are you going to give me the HR tone speech? Don't do the HR tone speech.
No, I'm not entertaining this, Andrew.
HR is human resources. For those of you who are wondering if you are. Okay. And this is the funny thing. All of these women, I just want to make this point, okay? All of these women always go down to the path of, you're being disrespectful. You're being disrespectful. How? You're having a debate. You're on a podcast that has something called a conversation, okay? You might want to engage in one, okay? For the 12 hours that you're sitting there, okay? So we can understand why you're even there. People go on these things because they want to have a conversation.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Okay. I mean, if you don't want to engage, you don't have to engage.
Yeah,
It's just,
I'm in my healed girl era, Andrew. I'm not.
She's in her healed girl era. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now it's about to get real cute in here. It's about to get real exciting in here. She's in her healed girl era.
I'm not going to argue with you today. We're going to be friends again after this.
Well, I don't take any of it personally. I don't understand why you take a position and then won't defend it.
Because okay, I'm going to tell you why. If you genuinely care.
Well, at least she's admitting to what she's done.
Why, if you genuinely care to know, because we're talking about my opinion on whether a 20-year age gap is appropriate or not. I said no, right? I don't think it's appropriate. And you tried to bring in logic about someone joining the military, which is a completely different, like not even in the same universe topic-wise.
Okay, so do you realize that if you bring up a hypothetical, for instance, that it's not going to map on to reality or the situation exactly, but you can still test the logic of a person to see if they're consistent. Hang on. I just let you finish.
Go ahead.
So all I'm trying to do is this. I get that you have a problem with an age gap, right? What I'm trying to determine is why. And if you have that problem, in this instance, I would assume that in an instance which was similar, where these same traits are applied, you'd have the same problem. Makes sense to me.
I was once a young 20-year-old girl, 15 years ago, that was in a situation.
Hey, you guys can't be doing sidebar conversations when somebody else is talking. Go.
Ooh, I'm telling you, ever since the Crucible got on there, Brian Wilson is like, listen, hey, you guys can't be having sidebar conversations. Like, he's like, I am an alpha male, okay? The beta's gone, okay? You don't come in here and do He's over here. I mean, I can't. This
else is talking. Go ahead.
That was in a situation with someone significantly older than me, and it was not a good situation for multiple reasons. There is a power dynamic difference. I was uneducated, about the person. I didn't even know what to ask. I didn't know what screening questions to ask.
Screening questions? What is this, an interview? What does she work for the FBI now? You're sitting here interrogating somebody you're going to date? See, now we're really getting somewhere because she was in a relationship with someone 15 years older than her, and it didn't work out too well for her, which is why she's old and bitter right now. And that's the real story here. You get it? It's personal. It's personal.
It was an inappropriate, horrible situation, and it was a very toxic relationship. And now, really quickly to address why I think it's so important that
look at his face. Andrew's like, oh, I knew I'd get it out of her. I knew I'd get it out of you, Amy. I already had the information. I just had to get it out of you.
Important that we separate these topics is the military is an educational system. It is a career. It is guided by instruction and education and purpose and mission and all of these things. It has nothing to do with that person on the romantic level. There's a difference between the military putting you in boots and someone trying to fuck you. There's a big difference.
Because the last time I checked, the power imbalance which exists inside of the military is such that the SA rates for women are sky high due to this power imbalance, usually from male officers who have a significant age gap. Far more likely to be SA'd in that than you are in an age gap relationship.
Whoa. Those are some stats that she didn't want to know about.
I don't agree with
since
that.
you're drawing, well, how can you disagree?
One, because I'm a woman in the military.
Would you like the stats?
Well, first of all, I want to know where you got the stats, because a lot of people throw out stats and they're not even verified stats. Second, I've been in the military. Second, I've been through an essay case, etc. So I know a lot.
Now we're getting somewhere. She's also been through an essay case. Okay. All right. Here we go, people. See, when you have somebody like her in her position, you can't really take anything that comes out of her mouth seriously. You can't have an actual discussion just based on, is it okay for Tobey Maguire to date somebody 20 plus years younger than him? See, you can't do it. That's the problem, because look how she's acting. An essay case, or this, or that. I mean, you are so bitter and like ran through. It's scary.
About essay in the military, and I promise it's a very small number. It's a very small number of the military. And now in terms of like,
Wait, hang on.
No, I'm not done. And in terms of like, if we're
the question
comparing,
wasn't whether or not
I'm
a
not
lot of women
done.
get essayed
I'm
in the
not
military.
done. I'm not done. If we're
But see, this is also real quick, believe all women. See, he has stats, and those stats aren't right according to her. But she can say the essay rate in the military is very, very small. Believe me. You get it? So if she makes a statement, that's a fact. But if he has the actual stat from some kind of study, oh, that has no merit. You see how that goes?
If we're comparing rates of people who get essayed outside of the military, it's a much higher number. So I want to be really careful that we're not conflating the rates of essay between the military and the civilian community, because they're not even close.
I was going to clarify it, and I'll clarify it right now. We're comparing the rates of SA in an age gap relationship versus the rates of SA if you're inside of the U.S. military as a female. We're comparing those two. Those are analogous, right? So now we have, yes, because they apply to your power imbalance. Your whole argument is about a power imbalance.
First of all, I don't have an argument.
So if you're a woman who can sign on to a power imbalance in the military, and you're actually more likely to be SA'd going into the military than you are to be in an age gap relationship, which is true, then I don't understand the argument of the power imbalance. That's what I don't get.
So, okay, first of all, I don't have an argument. This is just my opinion, just to be clear. Okay. I'm going to go back to that. The question was, do I agree or disagree?
Even Andrew's exhausted at this point. He's like, oh, God, just like, you know what? I can't. Give me another cigarette. Give me something new. Give me a beer. Give me something. I mean, it becomes boring. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is she talking about? How do you not have an argument? Do you have an opinion or not?
I agree or disagree with it. I don't agree with it. I don't need to prove my point to you, and I would really love to move on.
So just to be clear, less predatory, less bad if the guy fucks her and never talks to her again versus
I didn't say that.
You said if they're just hooking up and that's it.
I didn't.
But when the guy wants something a bit more serious, that's where you have a bit more of an issue.
I think that them trying to date long term and like her become a wife at 21 years old to somebody who
Andrew, did you just text him that? Did you just text him that? Are you helping? Is Brian cheating a little? He's like, maybe, DiBrava. I might be getting
21 years old to somebody who is double or triple her age is creepy.
Good catch, unconventional man. He was the one who caught that. He said,
no,
hey,
I heard it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He texted it. There's no, you know what's going on here with her? There's no getting anywhere with her. So, you know, Andrew's like, you know what? I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to tell Brian to do it now.
Did you notice that? And I was like, man, that's a great catch.
So,
I couldn't believe it.
You're fine with
This is my personal opinion. I don't need to convince you guys.
Position?
I don't need to convince you guys. This is just my personal opinion. I think it's icky. I'm not even.
Oh my God, I don't need to convince you guys, okay? It's just my personal opinion. I think it's icky, okay? I was essayed. I had an essay case. I was with a man that was 20 years older than me, okay? Which was 20 years ago. Okay, I mean, I don't have to answer your questions, okay? That's not why I'm here on the podcast. I'm simply here because I need views, and my producers from my podcast told me to come here, okay? And right now, what I am doing is behaving. I am falling in line because I am part of the woke mob, okay? And I cannot answer these questions, Andrew. How many times am I going to tell you?
Mad at her. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, go in your own age range. Like, get a little closer. Like, what are you doing? It gives me the ick.
Okay, but so going back to the question at hand, so you said that you're kind of fine with it if it's just casual. with the age gap. So if it's short term,
it's
you're
their
fine.
business. They're consenting adults. I just find it creepy when now you're like at a restaurant and you look next to you and this guy's gray haired and like could be her grandfather and she looks like she just got out of high school.
So it's okay if you're an adult, which is 20, by the way. So you're an adult at 18 and it's consensual, right? But it's just a fling. That's okay. But if it's something that may have long-term potential, you're not okay with it? Amy, do you realize what you're saying? You're like canceled right now. You do realize that, right?
That's weird. I find it really inappropriate.
But so I'll ask the question again.
Yeah.
You're okay if they hook up 1, 2, or 3 times, and then that's the extent of it. But you're not okay if the man is desirous of a long-term.
I'm not okay with that at all on a personal level. But I'm saying it's their business. I'm saying it's their business. I don't need you to understand.
Now she's not okay with it on a personal level, but she's okay with it on any other level. I mean, make up your mind.
Isn't it also their business?
I'm not
if
trying
it's
to
a long
convince
term?
you. I'm not trying to convince you.
That's cool.
I'm just ready to.
But I'm asking for clarification.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you're fine with it, or more fine with it, if it's short term. But if the guy's desirous of long term, that's your.
I'm
you
saying
have
it's
more
none
of
of
an
my
issue.
business. But you know, like if they're having
so wouldn't
sex,
it be
they're
none of your
consenting.
business? Wouldn't that be none of your business if it's a long term?
You asked me my opinion on seeing the news of Tobey Maguire dating someone double his age. I said I don't like it.
Right, but you made a statement. I'll repeat myself one more time.
Sure.
You made a statement where you said you don't really care or you don't mind if it's just kind of casual. They're just hooking up. Do you recall saying that?
I do.
Okay.
And I did.
So then that would seem to imply that you do have an issue then if it's more long term, if the older man's desirous of having a long-term relationship with her. Whereas if he's just like, sees her at the club, wants to fuck, then that's cool.
And she's okay with that. They're ambushing her. They are ambushing her. I think Rachel's behind this too. Rachel Wilson, she's over here going like this. And that computer in front of Brian, he's like, okay, I got it. They're bouncing. The 3 of them are ambushing her. This is getting funny.
And she's a consenting adult, etc. But where it gets weird for me is like, and this is for all young men and women, they're going to go through a few bodies as they're exploring a lot of people in general, right? Not everyone. Some people don't, but like, I think that's
More
normal.
baggage.
That's normal. That's normal. Happens for guys
More
and
baggage.
girls.
So then Brian's right. It's more life experience means more body count.
But if you're,
which also means that less high value men, that's their term, right, are going to want you. No, high value or not, okay? No man, okay, wants to be with a girl or a woman that has slept with, 30 people. It's just not natural, okay? And a woman should not even want to do that. You understand? What is she actually promoting here? I don't think she knows. She's so confused right now. They got her all twisted and messed up.
you're asking me specifically in that scenario, but I'm just saying I don't think that guy should be like getting married to someone who's triple younger than him.
What if they date for 5 years and now she's 20, now she's 25?
Yeah,
Too young for Leo.
I'm just done, Brian. I'm done with this topic.
Too old.
You
Sorry,
asked me my
too
opinion.
old.
I don't like it.
My
I don't
bad.
need you. I don't need you.
Yeah, but you said another thing, and now I'm trying to get to the bottom
Brian,
of the thing that you said.
Literally, you asked me my opinion. I
Yes,
gave you
but
my
I'm
opinion. I don't
yeah,
like
okay,
it.
Well,
I
but
don't
now
need
I'm
you
asking for clarification.
But I don't need you to prove me right or wrong.
I'm
That's
not
just my
trying to prove
opinion.
you right or wrong. I'm asking. You can't even answer the question.
Well,
I'm answering the question.
I understand.
Okay, you know what? First of all, guys, you know what? This really proves that she is completely anti-entertainment. I don't know how anyone would back a podcast with this girl's face behind it. She couldn't have a conversation if it slapped her in the face. She is literally anti-entertainment. I mean, Danny Banks, okay, an actual prostitute, okay, an OnlyFans prostitute thought, okay, had more excitement leaving and doing a rage quit against Marquette or the Saint and the Sinner on Access Vegas. I mean, really? I mean, this is so ridiculously boring. She's like, turning off an audience. You should be there right now, Lieutenant Amy, stealing the audience. Okay? You should be stealing the audience of the Whatever podcast and getting them so intrigued and interested that they can't wait to go find your YouTube. But instead, you're like putting people to sleep.
You're trying to give your opinion. You keep saying, I'm giving my opinion, but opinions are based on some sort of logical reasoning. Now, all Brian and Andrew are trying to do is try to figure out what is that logical reasoning behind it. Because if there is no logical reasoning behind it, maybe your opinion should change.
I'm going to engage in your opinion. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to engage in your opinion. That's correct. Yes,
Andrew,
you're right.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like it when I engage with your opinion?
No, I'm talking about the dynamic. I just don't like it.
If you wanted to move on, instead of kind of attempting to obfuscate and derail, you could just
There was no derailing or obfuscating. I'm just saying I'm done talking about it.
You could just answer the question.
But I did.
No, you just kind of say, I already answered the question, now move on.
Okay, Brian, you've been in a bad mood since everybody showed up.
Yes, I have.
A bad mood? She's talking about Brian being in a bad mood. The Crucible is smoking like his 4th or 5th cigarette in the last 10 minutes. They're all just like trying to entertain themselves at this point.
Say, I already answered the question, now move on.
Okay, Brian, you've been in a bad mood since everybody showed up.
Yes, I have been in a bad mood.
Yeah, and you're taking it out
Brian's always in a bad mood.
on me right now.
I'm not taking it out on you.
I
would engage with you just like this, regardless. If I had the most smooth pre-show, I would have engaged with you just like this, regardless. So it has nothing to do with the fact.
No, you'd be a little bit nicer.
No, he wouldn't. Okay, he's really just in a bad mood, extra bad, because Madison isn't there. Okay, there's some new girl with a hat on, and she's not that interesting. Okay, everything is going wrong. Madison's gone. She's on the ground reporting. He don't know what to do. Rachel's answers aren't coming in fast enough. Okay, lots of stuff going on. Give him a bad mood. It has nothing to do with you.
I can attest, Brian.
I would engage with you.
This is not my first time here.
This is my ninth time here.
Yeah,
I'll ask
cool.
one final question, and then I will move it on. So just as a point of clarification, can you answer? You said you don't object if it's older man, younger woman, and they're just hooking up.
It's their business.
But you do object, older man, younger woman, serious long-term monogamous relationship.
I would look at that older man and I would wonder what is going on with his mental health that he needs to date someone who is young enough to be his daughter.
Now older men are mentally ill for being attracted to young adult women.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Look at this girl on the green. She's just so confused. She's like, I don't know what he's talking about, what she's talking about. I guess I don't know if I'll ever date anybody at this point. I mean, it's like, she is so confusing.
Are mentally ill for being attracted to young adult women.
Yeah, that's creepy. It's creepy.
No, it's a mental illness.
I think so.
You think it's a mental illness for men to be attracted to like a stacked 21-year-old?
Wow, now she's saying that men who are attracted to younger women are mentally ill? Oh, she's going down a really, really dark path right now. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That's nature. Women are looking for people to save them, to take care of them. Okay? That's nature. Okay? They're not supposed to be out here running around from podcast to podcast like her, working and doing all this stuff. Okay? That's not really nature. Okay? That's feminist stuff. She's going down a bad path.
Like giant fucking titties, big fucking ass.
Do you
think it's a mental illness?
No, Brian, stop. It's only a mental illness if they want to date them. It's fine to fuck them.
No,
Oh my God. Did you hear that? Oh my God. Andrew. You can't win with them. Can't.
Stop. It's only a mental illness if they want to date them. It's fine to fuck them.
No, I'm telling you, I don't care. It's just my opinion. It's my opinion.
All right. Hang on. Let's lighten the mood. We'll lighten the mood, all right? Like, here's me throwing you a bone. You want to sing the I Just Got the Ick song? I just got the ick. Come on.
Andrew, now you're singing because of me. You know it.
Just got the ick.
I like
Come on,
It's
you
the
can sing
ick.
it with me.
It is the ick. It's so gross.
It got the ick.
It's so gross. What are you doing dating your grandfather?
What does she care? What does she care? She has no value to this conversation. There's no real purpose or reasoning behind her opinion. That's the point.
I know. It's so gross of that chick to do that.
So just to be clear, your position is men are mentally ill for desiring young adult women. So like 21-year-old women, it's mental illness.
It's like, yeah, why would you want to date your daughter? It was an off-the-cuff comment, so it's not that serious, number one. But number two, I said I would be concerned about their mental health. Why are they dating someone? And hear me out for a second before you jump in. There's a lot of men out there who are dating women sometimes younger or the same age as their daughters.
Oh, okay.
And because that's where
Who cares? Who cares? And Tobey Maguire isn't dating someone the age of his daughter. He's dating somebody the age of his granddaughter. She's 20, he's 49, whatever, you know? No, he's dating his daughter's younger friend.
Daughter comment came in because you said, well, it's not his daughter, that are about the same age. Why would you want to date someone first of all, I have a 15-year-old son.
What? Oh my God, I've never heard this. She has a 15-year-old son? Oh, now it's getting juicy. Let me bring that back.
About the same age. Why would you want to date someone first of all, I have a 15-year-old son. I would never, 5 years from now when he's 20, I would never date a 20-year-old.
Okay, I actually have a rebuttal to this. Okay. So,
first of all, let me just say this, okay? You're not J-Lo. You're not anybody in that realm. Only J-Lo can date 20-year-olds that are like 40 years younger than her, okay? That's how that works. You're not it.
So you're saying that any characteristic which a child possesses, you must not then date a person who possesses the characteristic of your child.
No,
so for
I didn't
example,
say that.
if the skin color of your child is white, how dare you date somebody who's the same skin color as your child? Right, but that's the logical.
I didn't say that.
Yes, I know that's not what you said.
He's over here like, good question, Rachel. Good question, Rachel. Rachel sent that in.
But do you understand how I'm trying to like make a comparison here? You're saying that if there's a trait that your child possesses, it then becomes weird and creepy if you date somebody who possesses the same trait. So for example, if your child has blue eyes, you are then a predator for dating somebody who has blue. That's your argument, though.
No, it's not.
Dude, do you really think that's what I'm saying? Do you genuinely think?
When a man is calling you dude, honey, you got to recheck yourself. When Brian is calling you dude, you might want to like talk to your stylist. Talk to, something needs to change.
I think that I'm saying that that's what you said.
You literally just said that in your logic, any type of characteristic that person possesses. Okay,
but are you saying that I said? Are you saying that I said that you said it verbatim?
I'm because you're saying.
Of course, I know you didn't say what I just said.
But you're basically elaborating on something and taking it down a road. That wasn't even a thought in my mind.
I don't understand this comparison. Do you think a 30-year-old man is mentally ill if they found her physically attractive?
There's less than 10 year age difference.
That's a weird question.
Less than 10 years.
Do you think they're mentally ill if they found her physically attractive?
There's a less than 10 years age difference.
Okay, 35.
I would be concerned. Like, dude, what are you doing with a 21-year-old? Yeah.
See that he's making the point of her situation. You see? So are you saying that you were with a mentally ill man? Is that what you're saying, Amy? Because there was a 15-year age gap, and you're just sitting here talking about anything over 10 years is a mental illness, basically.
I want to go back to your comment about young people being sponges. I do agree with that. Your prefrontal cortex doesn't start developing until you're 25.
Okay, so
because she's an expert. I mean, who is she? Who is she? Some scientist now? I mean, she's like 12 years old. Now she's sitting here, your prefrontal cortex. Because she's, got 3 doctorates and she's graduated medical school and she's a brain surgeon, right? I mean, shut your mouth.
So
it's peer reviewed.
then
There's
people,
multiple studies.
Yeah, it's been debunked. So should people be voting then?
Nope.
Should you be able to vote at that age?
No.
Hold on.
Oh, let's see where this goes. Let's see where the feminist talk goes now.
Go ahead. Should you be able to vote?
I think that given our current political system and how one vote, I think that's a hard one. I think that...
Well, she's proven herself right here. She got her degree on OnlyFans.com, just like the rest of them.
Hold on. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Okay, so with your vote, you could elect a representative, a president, congressman, whatever it is, who could send us to war, which could lead to a nuclear holocaust. Do you think that that's a bigger issue than being able to have a romantic sexual relationship with a man who's 20 years older than you?
I think that's a very interesting comparison to draw between those two issues.
But with your vote,
I don't know how the conversation's gotten here.
Yeah.
Okay, with your vote, you can empower a representative who could send us to war, that could result in conceivably the some sort of catastrophic scenario where there's nuclear war.
You think my vote individually would have that much of an impact?
Is she out of her mind? I mean, even an idiot bimbo like her knows better than to make a statement like that. Of course your vote counts, you idiot. Every vote counts. What are we talking about? Doesn't have an impact? I mean, God, stop listening to people like Lieutenant Amy. That's how the country got in the shambles it's in right now.
This is a very common feminist argument, happens often, and I'm fine with the argument. I just am only fine with it if we can agree on the entailments of what that means. It's like, if you're saying that a woman's prefrontal cortex is not fully developed till 25, and because of that, she's not making good rational decisions about who she can or can't date, then why would we let her make rational decisions about other things which have impacts? That's the point.
She probably doesn't, like, young people
She
don't
has a
even
voice.
understand what
She
it
has a
means.
voice. She has a voice. She can speak.
I'm not talking about her.
Yeah,
I'm talking about her.
No,
I'm talking about
yeah.
No, you're not talking about her. You're trying to talk for her. That's the difference. You're trying to talk for her.
the woman, the girl in this scenario. I'm not talking about her.
I'll let you finish.
No, you go ahead. You're good.
It's okay.
I
No.
wasn't even talking about you.
No, you're all good. I knew
No.
you weren't. You're all good. I think that is an interesting question to pose. I think that it also does come to the fact that I pay taxes currently.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I pay taxes. I work. I have had multiple jobs.
Yeah, I was paying taxes at 12. Okay, if you have an income coming in, all right, from something you're doing, you got to pay taxes on it, you idiot. These are dips, literally.
I pay taxes, and I do think that under a democracy, I do think that my vote, I do think I kind of, even if my prefrontal cortex hasn't developed fully.
Go ahead, Andrew.
But hold on, just because you're paying taxes anyway doesn't mean that you can't vote. There are plenty of people voting that don't pay taxes, sweetheart.
Today's 15 and 16-year-olds pay taxes.
I'm not 15.
I know, but 15 and 16-year-olds pay taxes, so that would mean that by the entailment of that, 15 and 16-year-olds should be
just
able
go
to
back
vote.
to the question.
Right?
The original question.
What?
I said, I really just think we should all just go back to the original question.
Yeah, I know. But why? I'm sorry. I know that the
Wait a minute. Before she wanted to move on, now she wants to go back to the original question. Which is it, Amy? Could you imagine being in a war zone with this chick? Everyone would be dead on arrival.
attention's not 100% focused on you right this second, but we're having a conversation with somebody else because I'm curious about the worldview here as well. If you say, oh, I pay taxes, so I should be able to vote. Okay, that makes sense. But then that would apply to all taxpayers, which would include 14, 15, 16-year-olds that have part-time jobs. They pay taxes. Should they be able to vote?
No.
There's a question for you.
I know, I'm taking a moment to think.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
I personally don't think that I would be able to give an answer on that right now. I don't know. I think that I'd have to think about it longer. And I think that we should move on to the next
for you.
person and keep discussing. I was simply just trying to add on that I agreed with one of your earlier points, and I respect your opinion. I was only trying to do that, and that has led us down a million gajillion rabbit holes, and I think that we should continue moving around.
My last follow-up.
No comment.
Would you ever accept from me the argument that I do not condone LGBTQ because I find it to be gross? Would you ever say that that's okay?
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. So, like, if you...
Yeah, you wouldn't question my opinion, though. If I wanted to vote to legislate it or things like that, then would you oppose it?
It's not
then
my...
would I have to have
it's your
justifications
vote.
for it?
It's your vote. You can do whatever you want with your vote.
So you wouldn't even question it. You would just say, no problem, it's
if
just
I
your
have
opinion.
a problem with it or not. I have a problem with it.
So
I think
what
it's
if
weird.
somebody said that they didn't like other races because they find it icky? Would you say anything about their opinion then?
This episode is deep. This is deep. Do you think that she's actually even understanding what Andrew is saying or doing to her right now? The embarrassment of this podcast. If I was in the shoes or sitting in the seat of Lieutenant Amy, the Amy Is podcast would be canceled and I would never show my face anywhere again.
again, I'm talking about my opinion here. I'm talking about my opinion.
So you have no opinions about anybody else's opinions, even if you disagree with them?
I didn't say I had an issue with them being attracted to younger women. I said I have an issue with them pursuing the younger women.
You don't really answer questions.
It gives you the ick. But if the argument is just it's
Ask
the
your
ick,
question, Brian, because I just did.
But if the argument is just it gives you the ick, then I don't know. Couldn't I use that argument for basically any form of discrimination I could ever think of?
Sure.
And would you have anything to say about that, or would you just be like, "Oh, that's fine, it's your opinion"?
Well, I didn't come
People that wear white and have slick back hair are mentally ill. Okay, that's my opinion.
to argue, first and foremost. I didn't come to argue or debate.
You didn't come on to
I just
an
came to talk
adversarial
about
dating show to
dating
argue?
topics. I did not come to argue, so that's why I'm saying we should.
Well, did you just come to monologue?
I came to have a conversation, not to argue.
That's what we're doing.
No, we're
that
not.
conversation's become
No, we're not.
adversarial.
No, we're not. When you guys are laughing, rolling your eyes, like making statements and comments that basically try to invalidate
What are you guys doing?
my opinion and things like that.
Wait, hang on. Yes, it's okay for me to make arguments that invalidate your opinion if I disagree with it, one. And two, you think that we have a monopoly on eye rolling in this conversation? Really?
Where I have an issue with these types of conversations is when you already are getting ready to make a point to like flip.
I'm already ready.
Exactly.
ready.
But it's like you're not even like open for the conversation.
Well,
so
hold on.
why are you asking your question?
Listen, I think that's a fair criticism. I'll tell you, I'm totally open to having my mind changed. In fact, I hate cognitive dissonance. That's a thing that I despise. I've tried to get rid of as much cognitive dissonance in myself as I possibly can. Totally open to having.
Now, you know, the girl in green has no clue what that is. Cognitive dissonance. She's like, yeah, I'm for the LGBT too. Uh-huh.
Totally open to having my mind changed. That's why I love having combos like this.
Yeah,
absolutely. But the thing is are you willing to have your mind changed?
I would be open to it for sure, but where I'm specifically referencing.
What is she talking about? She hasn't been open to one single thing yet. Okay? Not a single thing. The only thing she was open to initially was showing her face and sitting her behind down on the whatever podcast so she could get their 4 million plus viewers to come on over to Amy Is Okay. That's not working out too well for you, is it now?
Can we do that if we don't? Hang on. I'm almost done. I just wanted a quick yes or no to that. And the reason, here's why. If you're open to having your mind changed, and we're having this conversation, how in the world could I change your mind without showing you if we apply this kind of thinking or the rigidity in thinking of I got the ick and then take it to its logical conclusion and you see that the position itself is absurd? How else can I get you to change your mind? Can you actually explain that to me?
Sure.
I actually do want to know the answer to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's really difficult for you to completely change the topic in the sake of parallel ideas. You should just stay on the actual topic and maybe ask onion layer peeling questions about how did I get to that logic? So then you would understand where I'm coming from, and you could even have an intelligent conversation in where maybe there's holes in my logic on that topic.
Great. Then let's start with how did you come to the position that a age gap relationship is icky?
I'm going to answer that in 1 second.
How did you come to this?
Now she's going to answer it, but in 1 second. Right after she redirects the conversation to some other land.
Come to this.
I will answer that in 1 second, but I want to finish what I was saying to Brian. See, rolling your eyes, shaking your head.
Because it's a meta conversation.
No, it's not meta. It's just you being a jerk.
Do you know what a meta conversation is?
I sure do.
What is it?
A meta conversation was where you're just ice layering on top of each other, where you're not actually addressing the topic.
That's not a meta.
Well, you don't know what a meta conversation is. How many times have you watched this podcast? Anybody that doesn't know what that means surely does if you're a fan of this podcast, right? Brian uses it all the time. Oh, Lord.
That's not a meta conversation.
A meta conversation is a conversation about the conversation.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant by the layering. You're talking about the same thing. So what I want to like.
What? This isn't a cake, Amy. No, that's not what it means. It means a conversation about the conversation. There's no layering involved.
I think it's really important to address. We all drove here and came here for your show.
Oh, here comes the redirect. Now, we all drove here and came here for your show, okay? I had to get ready. I had to hire a stylist to slick my hair back with a whole bottle of gel, okay? I had to find this white t-shirt, okay, from my father's closet. And I don't appreciate this. I'm wearing his jeans, my dad's. See where this is going? Here comes a redirect.
Right?
Okay, meta conversation.
No.
You're literally having a meta conversation.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But if we're going to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. But when you're being disrespectful, that's not a conversation.
Well, see, when it comes to the eye rolling, see, perhaps you might view it as disrespectful. But for example, if somebody were to say, Brian, I want to argue with you about the fact that I think that the sky is red.
But I don't want to argue at all. I already said that.
Okay, if somebody says something ridiculous, so ridiculous that it warrants an eye roll, I don't see any actual objection there. If somebody's going to say, Brian, the sky's not blue, I don't even know how to have that conversation. And some of the eye roll comes from you saying, I mean, I actually find it quite almost despicable that you want to paint men. You said men prey, men are predators, men are mentally, you would question their mental health. I mean, that's very objectionable language because you're essentially painting almost most or all men as having a pathology, which I object to and I find ludicrous. And when it comes to this commonality thing, I just find that absurd. I mean, why even engage in it? Because it's just ridiculous if you genuinely think that commonality is high on the totem pole in terms of what people find attractive.
Wow, Brian. I applaud that. Great job. Well said.
I completely disagree with you. If
you disagree that in terms of my assessment of what you said, you've pathologized all men or most men. You think they're predatory. You think they're prey. You said prey.
I said if there's a 20-plus year age gap. Let's be clear. The 20-plus year age gap.
Yes, that's the context of which I'm addressing this. Did you say the word prey?
Mm-hmm. When there's a 20-year age gap, yes.
Oof.
Okay, so, but you also said it about even men who find them attractive. You did say that too.
Yeah, I think it's weird. Why would you?
Okay, and you think it's predatory? You think they're
if you
preying?
Pursue it, yeah.
You think they're preying, right? So you're pathologizing. So there's the justification for my eye roll. It's just an absurd statement.
Well, it's my opinion.
So I do genuinely want to know how you came to this opinion.
Well, one, I'm a woman who was once in her early 20s, and I did engage with, and when I just want to be clear, I'm not saying sexually, but like I did have conversations. I did have men hitting on me. I did, work in environments, etc., where there was a lot of men that were acting predatorily because I was so young, impressionable, and easy to, coerce to do different things, go different places, etc.
Well, hold on a second. Isn't she talking about her military years now? She said she joined at 17. I know that she had quite a long career there. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess right.
I've had a lot of negative experiences with men that are much older than me. And if now that I'm older, my number one piece of advice to younger women is try to just keep it around the same age as you. Like, I don't think...
First of all, that's the worst advice you could ever give a female. Don't ever date anybody your own age. You have to have at least a 10-year... I believe in a 10-year gap, okay? It's never going to end well, okay? You need somebody who can guide you. So a man... First of all, men mature later than women. On top of it. So you really have to date older in order to have a relationship that's actually going to work. In my opinion alone. That's just my opinion.
20 years, 30 years older than you is appropriate. That's just my personal opinion from my personal lived experiences.
Andrew, I have something on this. If
okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. So, so you mentioned that you dated men who were older and they were bad experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't doubt that at all. But I also hear from women.
Brian, oh my God, I take it back, Brian. I take back all the beta comments I've ever made about you, my love. You are on your alpha trip, okay? She's on her, I'm okay, Amy is okay, I'm me, I'm this, you're on your alpha. Keep it coming, Brian.
For example, who date men their own age and have also bad experiences. Mm-hmm. So it's not clear to me that it really matters. If you're trying to avoid bad experiences, I don't see really what age has to do with it. A guy the same age as you can be just as or more abusive and controlling as an older guy.
Great point.
Sure can. I just, again, my personal opinion based on my personal lived experiences is that there should be a smaller age gap. I say 10 years is roughly the max.
Yeah. So
what were you
when
gonna say?
when we're thinking about this, the reason that I'm gauging what you're saying, and the reason I'm diving into what you're saying, and the reason I want to change your mind about what it is that you're saying is because I think you're coming to an improper conclusion based on bad thinking, and I think that I can assist with that. And so that's why I want the opinion and why it is that you think this. And if all you can say is it's justified via ick, there's no way in the world, because you could justify anything with ick, right? You could justify any discriminatory behavior with ick. You can justify hating women with ick. You could justify hating men with ick. You could justify anything with ick. So that would be improper thinking, wouldn't it?
I don't know, Andrew. I'm. This is again just my opinion. What were you gonna say?
My question.
Oh my God. This girl is literally killing herself right here. It's over. I thought the Access Vegas appearance was bad. This is like 10 times that.
My question is, so when I sit there and I look at men my age where I'm from, most of them can't tell their left ass cheek from the right. Okay? So when I sit there and I say I look at men 30 plus years old because they know what they want, they've been through life, they're ready to settle down.
How old are you again?
I'm sorry?
How old are you again?
I'm 26.
You're 26. Okay, that's 30.
So
Great.
30, 40, 50
That's
year old
great.
men, that's who I tend to
40,
look
50?
at. Right, because they have their shit together, they know what they want. Men in their 20s, men in their 30s, they don't know what they want typically. It's very, very rare to find that. So I don't necessarily agree with your point of they should be closer together.
It's really common in these particular red pill settings that like
Is this a red pill setting?
Look, Brian, okay, this is a red pill setting. It's really common in the red pill setting. I literally have to do everything in this like weird Californian voice because I'm like one of the Kardashian descendants. And that's why I'm here. And you guys like don't understand. I'm going to call Kris Kardashian shortly after this and have you canceled. I'm being as kind as I possibly can. And I'm also not going to be canceled. Okay. And how dare you disrespect me? And I don't know where you're going with this. And that little thought over there, okay, needs to go. She looks like a boy. I'm not interested. I don't even know what's going on here, but this podcast is over. That's where this is going.
come on.
Are you fucking retarded?
Wait a minute.
Red pill setting?
Come on.
Are you fucking retarded?
I'm sorry, what?
There was an option.
Bro, you
Anyways.
dropped the prop.
Well, I didn't know it was going to come out.
Well, I mean, probably shouldn't play with props.
Brian, you don't need to be so rude.
Could I make a comment as soon as...
Like, why would you call me fucking retarded?
Because, I mean, you dropped the prop. It's on the floor now. You haven't done anything to pick it up.
Well, I would, but I'm a little distracted by you calling me fucking retarded.
Yeah.
She should be distracted by him calling her bro. I mean, that would be a little bit more distracting to me. You're trying to be a female and an empowered, I'm a glorious God, Gloria, okay, is your God or whatever, and you're sitting here and you're worried about him saying what? How about the fact that he's calling you a dude the entire podcast? I mean, that hasn't phased you. I mean, you are dressed like a dude, you look like a dude, you talk like a Kardashian, but you do look like a dude.
Retarded.
Yeah, I mean, here's the tone policing again, so...
Oh, you're right.
Is this a rage quit?
Like
I'm
other...
not rage quitting. You're just so disrespectful. Like
You literally... Yes.
She can't even rage quit properly, okay? She's like, I'm not rage quitting. You're just like so disrespectful. Like, you would think that this time she was like getting up, screaming and yelling, but she's like, I'm not rage quitting. You called me an F and whatever, retarded, and I'm just like not gonna do it. She can't even do that and make it entertaining. This girl is anti-entertainment. I don't know how she's pro-establishment, okay? Because they're all about the entertainment value. Honey, you got no future here. None.
I'm not rage quitting. You're just so disrespectful. Like
You literally... Yes.
Hang on, listen, hang on, it's been super hostile. Let's finish the combo. You don't want to finish the combo?
I love you, Andrew, but I'm not going to be called fucking retarded.
This was funny. Even Andrew at this point is like, hold on. Stay, come on, we've been here 9 hours. I gotta get something out of this. Guys, listen, okay? I am gonna be Lieutenant Amy, okay? I tried to be a captain. I couldn't because I just couldn't really function. I mean, this is the problem with the country today, okay? Anybody listening to her should not be listening. Period. Okay. You should be tuning her out. I mean, guys, you want to talk about a feminist on trial? We just had one. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Lieutenant Amy, Oh, make sure you go check out her podcast, the Amy Is podcast, if it's not deleted by the time this comes out. I'm DiBrava. See you next time.